And today what we're going to be talking about is the water quality testing that we do here at NELHA. We have extensive testing, and there's a lot of concern that we have to be aware of and change our testing accordingly. And that's why I really appreciate people giving us feedback and hearing what people have to say. We've been testing here for about 32 years. Environmental sampling, 32 years. And this is a really broad sampling schedule that we have. We test all kinds of water chemistry stuff. And we also do independent biota and benthic surveys on an annual basis. So before I get started into the testing, I want to go over the big picture. I'm sure most of you don't know much about NELHA, but NELHA is a state-operated, master-permitted, zoned industry, ocean science, and technology park. NELHA managed 870 acres and an ocean research corridor for the last 40 years. And we have seen no significant impact from our operations. NELHA's tenants, clients, scientists, government agencies, and other public depend on the pristine water quality of the Class AA water that's found right off the shoreline here at NELHA. So what do we do here at NELHA? So that's who we are. What do? We pump water. We pump about 30 million gallons of water per day, seawater, to the businesses and clients here for aquaculture, mariculture, alternative energy, and water bottling. We also discharge about 30 million gallons of seawater at our facility on onshore surface trenches. Yes?
Question. How much of that seawater is from land-based wells and how much is directly from the ocean?
100% from the ocean.
Okay, thanks.
Well, you know that answer.
So here's the big ta-da. After 32 years of monitoring, we see no evidence of harmful change to the benthic, the fish biota, and the ankle and pond communities. So what guides our water quality testing is a lot to do with the regulation. So we've been served a couple healthy scoops of what I call compliance alphabet soup. And some of you may know all these little acronyms. I won't go over them, but we have a lot of them that we have to comply with. So this is the facility. We have a map here on the right side. We also sample groundwater. We have 34 groundwater wells here. I believe there's 100 wells in the Keauhou hydraulic unit, but what I think is really interesting is the N number. We've taken, for groundwater samples, over 6,000 samples to date. We've also taken a huge amount of surface seawater samples, 1,282, and just below all that is the analytes that we looked at. The program changes over time. We're very dynamic because sometimes we find some information that says, okay, we're okay in this area, we need to allocate resources to another area. So you'll see here where we were sampling in certain analytes and how long and when we stopped. And we feel that we do an excellent job here through all the monitoring that we have performed in the past. We have an extensive environmental monitoring program to protect the pristine Class AA waters. Once again, our clients here rely on that water. It's not in our interest to damage it. And over the last 32 years of monitoring, we showed no significant impact on the environment. So my final remark is, I believe we have a wealth of data here, a wealth of data. And I think it could be useful in helping guide future direction. And if you're interested in our wealth of data, you can find it on our website. It's nelha.hawaii.gov. And you can find both the benthic and the fish surveys, the ankle and pond surveys, and the water chemistry data. Huge amounts of data that's on our website. Any questions?
mission and the purpose of this place was to research energy generation with OTEC using the temperature differential in the deep water pipes. And that was really the reason for being.
Mm-hmm.
And now it seems like the reason for being is to not do any harm to the ocean. What kind of happened
Well, I
with the
wouldn't-
mission shift?
We do not want to do any harm to it's always been our mission not to do harm to the ocean. And we do perform research currently on OTEC, which is the ocean thermal energy conversion. We have plans to perhaps building out some scale-up projects. So we're really excited about that. So OTEC hasn't disappeared. It's still here. It's just that we have looked at other opportunities of the seawater after it passes through the OTEC plant. It's like recycling. We already pumped the water up. Could you use the water for other opportunities? And that's the mariculture, the water bottling, the aquaculture, and that's what also is performed here.
Why do you pump it up? Is it just for the benefit of the contractors that use it for commercial means?
We are pumping the water initially for OTEC research, and we found that other people liked using the water. For instance, the aquaculture can grow any type of fish from 5 degrees C to 25 degrees C because they can blend the waters together. And it's a unique opportunity. It's a unique resource. It's super clean, and we have a lot of opportunity for companies here that like to use that water for either research or commercial uses.
And one last question. You have 34 wells. How much do you pump them, and what does that water get used for?
They're environmental wells. We pump them at a quarterly basis. Usually what I try to do is 3 well volumes. If I don't do 3 well volumes, I am currently using in situ probes to monitor salinity and temperature. And we usually look at that, and once we get stable, that's how much we stop, we take our samples. And in general, I would say it's less than 20 gallons per sampling.
Do you have a sense of what the plume looked like going back out into the ocean?
Our sense of the plume is that our water that we're discharging is dense and cold in some cases, and it sinks. So if you're discharging seawater and you're discharging it above the basal lens, it's going to sink through the basal lens and sink into an area where it meets similar densities and then move with the prevailing flow. If you're looking at the benthic surveys, what we see is that we have about a 2 to 5% increase in coral cover over a year. In general, out at the point, we have 77% coral cover. I usually tell people it grows like weeds out there, but people don't like to hear that. But it's beautiful. We have huge amounts of tourists that come to NELHA to dive off our coastline on a daily basis. We have the manta ray dives out here. I think one is called Pipe Dreams. They go look at our pipes. They're out there day after day after day. If there's a problem, they tell us. We know about it right away.